Are you looking to take that crypto knowledge to the next level? Or are you in search of some resources that could level up your crypto investing game? Well, if you nodded your head to either one of those questions, then have I got a corker of a video for you. You see, I believe that knowledge is power, and today I'm going to share my top 5 favorite crypto books that I think you should definitely be reading. These cover everything from understanding how fiat currency actually works to the basics of blockchain, why Bitcoin is important, technical analysis, and more. I'll also be giving you an overview of each one so that you'll know which one is worth getting your hands on before investing your time and money. Finally, I'll share some useful additional resources and a smoking hot deal or two as well. So, you definitely don't want to miss a moment. Yes, I might be a bookworm and an erudite scholar of all things crypto, but one book I most definitely haven't read is How to Be a Financial Advisor. My local library never had it, sadly. So, as a result, I'm no financial advisor. And that means everything I say is for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. I preach the good word of DYOR. Now, if you're new here, you may be wondering what this crypto chap is on about. Well, my name is Guy, and my channel is your one-stop shop for all things crypto. Here you'll find my top-notch reviews, analysis, and news. Indeed, I'm thinking about kicking off a side project as a crypto news anchor very soon. So, if that's something you want to be involved with, then you want to bosh that subscribe button and ping that cheeky little notification bell as well. Do that and you'll be the first one to know whenever a new video is launched from the Coin Bureau HQ here in good old London. One more thing, behold the glorious timestamps I have placed in the timeline. They are there to help those strapped for time to skip ahead to the book that interests them the most. Okay, ready to enter crypto's version of Flourish and Blots? Let this crypto wizard take you there. First up, I have The Basics of Bitcoins and Blockchains, authored by Anthony Lewis. So, who can get value from such a book? Well, this one is for anyone who's new to crypto and trying to get their heads around the tech from first principles and putting that into a wider context. This is key to understanding why Bitcoin and crypto have value in the first place. All that is super important for crypto newbies, as if you restrict your crypto education to the likes of YouTube, you could be forgiven for thinking one of two things. Either that you're chucking your money into the crypto casino and just hoping that the cryptocurrency you pick up will generate those gains you're looking for, or that crypto is only for advanced tech nerds. Some seem to hide behind a wall of jargon that simply doesn't make much sense to a normal person, and that's pretty off-putting if you ask me. But here's the thing, if you are really wanting to dabble in crypto, do you really want to gamble your hard-earned money on the word of a crypto YouTuber or a guy that just sounds like a tech genius? If you don't want to be beholden to chaps like me, then The Basics of Bitcoins and Blockchains is a great starting point. Anthony kicks things off with something that's often overlooked and misunderstood by many. That would be the history of money and the different forms money takes. Think barter systems, commodities, and fiat currencies. He then goes on to describe how the banking system really works and how payments work from an accounting perspective. Now, I know that last part may sound like a bit of a bore, but it's super important to understand, as this is the intermediary system that Bitcoin actually aims to compete against in the first place. Indeed, most of my friends still don't really understand what money actually is, and you kind of need to understand that to really see the value of crypto as an alternative payment system. Next, the book jumps into the ins and outs of cryptography. Yes, that's the technical mumbo-jumbo that you'll hear thrown around casually, which no one ever seems to explain. Well, Anthony explains topics like public and private keys, hash functions, and digital signatures, all in pretty straightforward English. Essential stuff to know how crypto works. Then he goes on to introduce blockchain as a concept and the challenges that it solves. That includes things like the dangers of money accounts created by a centralized entity like HSBC, transaction ordering that can lead to bookkeeping discrepancies, and much more. Through explaining the problems rife in the traditional financial system, Anthony paints a very clear picture of what a blockchain is and how they work. Now, as the type of guy that likes to learn using practical examples, that's something I personally value. But is this book all about how great crypto is? Well, not at all. Yes, the advantages of blockchain and crypto are talked about extensively. However, weaknesses of the tech are not overlooked, such as wallet security risks and 51% attacks. Indeed, after reading this book, you'll understand why so many people in crypto bang on about getting a hardware wallet and why that investment in your crypto security could be the best one you ever make. Actually, if you're interested in learning more about hardware wallets and the differences between the top models on the market, then fortunately, I have already prepared a video all about that. Those interested in learning more will want to click the video over here. Now, one more thing about the book. If you read it cover to cover, you'll find that almost all crypto jargon is clearly explained in straightforward English. That's got a ton of value and will help you get more out of crypto-related content on the likes of YouTube. Does the basics of bitcoins and blockchains sound like it's up your street? Well, if that's the case, you're probably wondering where you can get it. Well, yes, you could shell out the best part of 15 quid and pick up the paperback on Amazon. But some of you may not be really that keen on handing over more money to Jeff Bezos. I mean, he's got plenty of it as it is. Or perhaps you would like to save that fiat to buy more crypto. Well, if you're into audiobooks, then the good news is that you can get the basics of bitcoins and blockchains on Audible for free. Yeah, you can use and abuse that free Audible trial and cancel that subscription within 30 days. Cheeky, I know. Link to that is in the description below. Now, in case you're wondering, no, I haven't been sponsored by Audible. I'm just a chap that likes to make their money stretch a bit further and thought I should share that top tip with you. Now that you know a top crypto book pick for beginners, I want to move on to tell you about a book that's perfect for those that have been in crypto for a time. Turns out it's also authored by one of the smartest guys in crypto as well. So let's move on to that. Pick to pop on your reading list is The Internet of Money, written by Andreas Antonopoulos. Now, in case you're not aware of who Andreas is, this crypto OG is one of the most well-known thought leaders, speakers, and educators in the space. Indeed, he joined the company Blockchain back in 2014 as Chief Security Officer, a wallet and information service company for crypto. So, needless to say, Andreas knows the ins and outs of crypto risk management and building enhanced security practices. This chap also has a top-notch crypto YouTube channel, frequently appears on the podcast Speaking of Bitcoin, and has authored a couple of tip-top crypto books to boot. Now, honestly, if you ask me, Andreas is one of the good guys in crypto, so it's only fitting that I have one of his books on this list. Anyhow, with The Internet of Money, you have to be aware that the book is a collection of essays about crypto. Now, personally, because I've always been the type of chap that's been strapped for time, I quite like that, as I find it easier to dip in and out. Those essays basically explore the social, historical, political, economic, and philosophical aspects of cryptocurrency. Now, I don't want to spoil this book too much for you. However, there are a bunch of eye-opening concepts that I think you guys would love. One of them outlines the idea of something termed infrastructure inversion. Andreas explains this concept by harking back to a time when cars were just bursting onto the scene. Those cars were trying to leverage infrastructure built for horses and carts. Needless to say that dirt roads and no street signs meant that those early cars had a ton of teething problems. Back in those times, can you imagine rainy days in London turning those dirt roads into quagmires and those cars getting stuck in the mud? Needless to say, those folks galloping by on horses were probably thinking that cars would never catch on. However, over time, infrastructure was built for cars, aka the humble asphalt road. Yes, horses could still use those new roads, but so could other modes of transport like the electric scooter and skateboards. Now, think back to the guy trotting past the car stuck in the mud on his horse. Do you really think that they could have envisioned a future of electric scooters whizzing around? I think not. So the point here is that the possibilities opened up by new technology cannot be imagined pre-infrastructure inversion. We can also see a similar trend happen time and time again with new tech. I mean, just think about the internet. Yes, I am just old enough to remember a pre-internet age, a time when you would load up in Carter 95 to do some research. Back then, no one had the foggiest idea that 26 years into the future, you'd be able to find the answer to pretty much anything on Google or YouTube. But all that wasn't really possible until the mass rollout of broadband infrastructure. Now, if you believe in that concept, then it's unlikely we'll realize what the true potential of Bitcoin and crypto actually is until that crypto infrastructure inversion properly happens. After all, we're still waiting for the likes of Ethereum 2.0 to deploy its scaling solution. Anyhow, the point is that this book won't help you understand Bitcoin and crypto in layman's terms. However, if you want to learn about the disruptive potential of crypto and the possibilities that blockchain tech can open up, then you'll certainly want to get your hands on a copy. Link to that is in the description below. Now, I know that some of you out there are not content to just hodl and are keen to multiply that crypto through crypto trading. Well, if that's you, then my next book pick is probably the one you need. So, let's move on to that bad boy. Have you ever watched a crypto technical analysis YouTube channel and thought to yourself, what on earth is happening with all those triangles drawn on that chart? In short, all those fancy lines and talks of bull flag formations is just technical analysis. That's used to read crypto price chart patterns to help make predictions of where that market is heading. Needless to say, if you can read those tea leaves right, you can bank yourself a pretty penny. If you like the idea of getting into crypto trading, then you probably want to get yourself a copy of Charting and Technical Analysis by Fred McCallan. Yes, this one isn't a dedicated crypto book. However, crypto markets are still relatively new when compared to traditional markets. Also, a chart pattern or formation is essentially the same, no matter what market we're talking about. Anyhow, this book is essentially a beginner's guide to technical analysis, and the author does this in a refreshingly clear way. It goes over all the basics like candlesticks, support, resistance, and trends. Then you have all those chart patterns like that classic cup and handle formation that you may have heard about. Volume indicators are also covered, along with moving averages, stop losses, and much more. You can also get access to the first 67 pages of this book for free on Google Books. So if you want to try before you buy, then I've provided a link to that in the description below. However, a word of warning, do not get this book if you are an advanced trader. The chances are you wouldn't learn anything new. It's more geared towards trading newbies that want to learn the basics of TA. If that's you and you've read this book cover to cover, then you might want to dip into my 3-part technical analysis series on YouTube over here. Once you've done all that and built up your TA skills, then you're probably going to want to put everything into practice. So, where do I personally do most of my crypto trading? Well, that would be on Binance. Put simply, Binance gives you access to hundreds of different cryptos. It has the highest overall liquidity of any exchange out there and very reasonable trading fees. Even better, I've been able to secure you guys an exclusive 20% trading fee discount on Binance too. Now that seriously adds up over time, so you may want to lock that deal in by signing up using the link in the description. Now, I know that many of you just have diamond hands and are more focused on hodling. If that's you, then you probably need to know about the evolution of money and why Bitcoin could well be the next evolved state. That way, you'll be able to hodl with true confidence. Well, my next book pick has that covered in spades. My 4th book pick is a favorite of mine, and that would be The Bitcoin Standard by Saifedean Ammous. This honestly provides the best explanation of what money actually is. Well, one which I've found anyhow. Ammous goes well back into the past and even looks at primitive forms of money and how gold was the best form of currency that mankind has known so far. But here's the thing, the world's governments kind of messed up gold as sound money by coming off the gold standard. Ammous explains the history of this and how the fiat money system has come to be. And speaking of which, if you're looking for a decent background on the fiat money system and why it's the biggest fraud ever, I have a handy video for you. Anywho, for those scholars amongst you, you will see that Ammous is from the Austrian School of Economics and certainly bashes Keynes a ton. Now, after that primer about the history of money, the subject of Bitcoin is then discussed. Now, if you buy into Amos's way of thinking, you'll come away from reading this book with the idea that Bitcoin is the innovation of the century and something so game-changing that we'll never see anything else quite like it in our lifetimes. What's important to note, though, is that this book is the writing of a true Bitcoin maximalist. So, if you're interested in blockchain in general or altcoins, then there might be a few things that you disagree with. For example, the notion that all altcoins in existence are scams and are nothing but mere speculation tools for traders. According to Amos, all altcoins will fade away into obscurity as Bitcoin emerges as the only blockchain to solve a real-world problem. Now, I am no Bitcoin maximalist, so I don't agree with everything in the book. However, if you want to learn about the history of money, monetary policy, the different schools of economics, and how all that links to Bitcoin, there is simply no better book out there. I've popped a link to the Bitcoin Standard in the description of this video, so be sure to check that out if you think this title tickles your pickle. My final book pick is for those who want a bit of a crypto-related page-turner for some bedtime reading. So, let me tell you all about it. The book Bitcoin Billionaires, A True Story of Genius, Betrayal and Redemption, follows the story of the Winklevoss twins after their Facebook stock settlement and their place in crypto history. It also touches on some key players in the space, like Roger Ver, Naval Ravikant, and more. Yes, the storytelling is gripping and engaging. However, the author does heap a ton of praise on the Winklevoss twins. A bit too much, if you ask me. That being said, it is quite clear to me that this book was written to be made into a movie. And honestly, once I started reading it, I could not put it down. It should also be known that the Winklevoss twins became the first known Bitcoin billionaires, aside from Satoshi. Now, this story is literally all about how they got there, with some truly amazing prose. Now, personally, I love reading about success stories and about crypto, and this book blends those two things together perfectly. So, if you want a bit of light-hearted crypto reading and want to learn a bit more about what happened in the early days of crypto, then this is the book for you. Now, that just about wraps up my video on my favourite crypto books. I did my best to include a little something for everyone here. Of course, I understand that doing a quick search on YouTube is convenient. However, I found that very few crypto YouTubers dive into the themes mentioned in these books in anywhere near the same amount of detail. Personally, I create my videos to serve as a springboard to help you do your own research. That's also why, if you hit up the description of any of my videos, you'll always find links to a bunch of references to help you dive further down the rabbit hole. Yes, it's true that people can make money in crypto by just throwing their cash blindly into some hot altcoin. But seriously, folks, if you are playing in these crypto waters, then it's really worth your time to level up that knowledge. And as I alluded to in the intro of this video, knowledge really is power. Level that up, and you'll be able to get more out of crypto YouTube content and be better placed to identify those hot opportunities for yourself. So, now I want to hear your thoughts. Are there any crypto books that I've missed out? Do you have any questions for this crypto guru? Use those comments below. And while you're typing away frantically on your keyboard, I need to let you in on a little secret. It's my socials page. Over here, you'll find links to all those places where you can get the content you're not getting here. This includes my Telegram, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and much more. You can find that link to the socials page at the tippity top of the description below. One final thing. If you found this video useful, then give it up for this crypto bookworm by slapping a like on it. Also, don't forget to subscribe, or I'll hack your Amazon account. In a while, crocodiles.